Right there. Hi there. My name is Charlie DeShulo, and today I'm with.
Meech of Van Buren Records.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to meet with me, man. I do really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So what is your name? Because on a couple different services it's just Meech. Some of it's Meech Bold.
Yeah.
Some of it's Meech from Van Buren.
Right.
Like, what do you prefer?
Meech Bold. Meech Bold.
Okay.
It hasn't translated yet into like streaming services and stuff like that. I'm trying to work on this project to really like introduce it.
Okay, so is this sort of a newer thing?
Yeah,
Bold
yeah.
aspect? Okay.
The Bold. I mean, like it was always my Instagram name for a minute, like since like 2015, honestly.
Okay.
Cause I just love the term bold, and just it's something that I didn't grow up being. You know what I mean? I was very inclusive and a silent kid, so. I'm like, bro, there's a lot of things I gotta say. And then the Meech Bold handle came in on Instagram, Twitter, like 2015. And then I never changed it to the name until like Black Wall Street, when we did the Black Wall Street drop in August.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you think changed? You said that your personality changed. So what, was that just growing up, or was there like some significant moment?
Yeah, there was a significant moment. Quitting my job. I was quitting my job and during I know they call it now, like a lot of articles call it the Great Resignation era. You know, so like I was part of that before before it even happened. Like COVID didn't really peak yet, and I was just unhappy at a job for like 4 or 5 years that I was working at corporate. And then once I quit, I was just like, I just kind of felt like I was evolving into something.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, quitting your job is kind of freeing sometimes, man. It really is. You don't want to be trapped. You know, you want to be the happiest person you can be.
Yeah, especially when it's something that you were like aspiring for a while, you know, and then once you get it, you're in the midst of it, you're like, yo, this is not at all what I thought it would be, which is very weird. It's like fool's gold.
Really?
Sort,
yeah, no,
that's what it felt like.
Yeah. No, I feel you, man. So something that you do like doing though is rapping. So how long have you been doing that for, man?
Yeah, man. 20. Whenever Joey dropped 1999.
Okay.
Around that time frame, like the idea of just freestyling a lot was fun. Like 2010s.
Okay.
2010 and 2011, right?
Okay, so when did you take it seriously?
Oh, 2017.
2017.
Yeah, 2017.
Okay. Was that? Did you drop a solo project? I think Swish, right?
Yeah.
Was that your first project?
Yeah, that was the first. This was mixtape, SoundCloud only.
Okay. So were you always working with Van Buren, or was this something more solo that you were just doing like by yourself?
At the time, it was just a solo thing, and then Felix, who was in the group, I've known him since I was 3. He was just kind of like, "Yo, you know, you got some skill. Why not just drop this and say it's Van Buren? You know what I mean? You're part of the team." I'm like, why not? Okay. So then I worked on that project solely by myself with no intentions of anything until the release, and he's like, "Yo, just drop it and say it's Van Buren." I'm like, "All right, word."
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And so were you like one of the original members of Van Buren, or?
I would say earlier members.
Okay.
The founders, the full founders. I know probably Giles broke it down, but when it came to them recruiting like Giles and Felix of artists, it was I was probably like one of the first in the forefront, actually, now that I think about it.
That's awesome, man. So who are some of your like inspirations when it comes to music?
Naturally, who I gravitated to, I would say Kendrick, Drake a little bit, DMX. Those are the 3 that really ring off top. Like,
why?
Kendrick, just because of his creativity. You know what I mean? You could tell he has a lot of integrity in what he wants to profess. Mm-hmm. Drake, versatility is insane. You know that he's not secluded from any record. He could jump on anything. And DMX, man, that was just kind of like, I think, the purest form of art you can get out of a big time like tier 1 artist. Because a lot of tier 1 artists now, it's very mainstream-esque. You know, they give you a radio single, a big feature, right? He had a #1 album, 3-4 times in a row from just no major features, just his own idea, his own truth.
No, I feel it, man. No, like DMX was like, he was still kind of dark. In the future, who would you love to collaborate with? If you could collaborate with anyone on a song, producers, rappers, doesn't matter.
It's funny, rapper-wise, on this next project, I'm trying once I get into the process of it, like a Sheck West.
Sheck West.
Mine's very random. Sheck West.
I can see it working.
I have an idea, and then I think production-wise, maybe I think Toro Imoy. Yeah, and outside of that, VV, like Ricky's someone that I've coordinated a lot with all my production, so it's like
you did
I'm
that
good
EP
there.
Together, right?
Yeah, Speed. Okay. Yeah, it was, and that wasn't even like orchestrated. It was just me and Rick. We have a chemistry where it's just we could go 2-3 months without cooking with each other, and I'm like, yo, I need beats, and then he'll just be like, here's 5 beats, and then they're all heat. You know,
of course. He's a fire producer, man. He's really good. So did you grow up in Brockton?
Yeah.
Okay, so you lived in Brockton all your life. You were telling me earlier you also moved to Connecticut as well?
Yeah. After I graduated college, 2017, went to Hartford, Connecticut. Lived there for 4 years, which was, as I was telling you, bro, it's not much, you know what I mean? So it's just a lot of cement in like factories. Yeah. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy. So it was an interesting experience.
Yeah, it's a weird state. Not much happening there.
Not much. They're very random because they have a very Caribbean-esque like influence. So they'll have festivals and stuff, which is pretty dope. You know, once in a blue moon in the summertime, but they are who they are. So they're not gonna do much after.
I wouldn't expect that from Connecticut out of all.
They have a dope artistic like museums and stuff. Like they have a lot of that. You know, gardens like when it comes to like architecture, painting, like they have a lot of that. But then outside of that, it's like nightlife is not crazy.
Yeah. So why did you return to Brockton out of all places?
Coming back was more so just seeing the momentum of the group, of the whole label. Just a lot of things were happening in 2019 and shows and just going to events where you network and you can connect with producers or connect with an A&R or connect with a representative from Puma. Like all these things were happening and I couldn't be there.
Of course.
You know, so then that just kind of led me to going like, all right, I gotta come back. So the last year, I came back last summer. Yeah.
So were you on that? I know that Van Buren went on a tour recently. Were you on that tour?
Yeah.
So can you share some like highlights from the tour?
The highlight was really Paradise. The last show.
Okay.
The last show, because New York and LA, man, it was just very quick.
Okay.
You know, you do show, after party, chill for like an hour and a half, then you're tired, so you just gotta go to sleep, and you got a day to do some stuff. So we cook up, made some music, went to New York, and then New York was kind of the same thing. You did the same perform after party, maybe spent a day or two, and then left. Okay. You know, and then but Boston was really like the whole nine. It was like the day before the promotion, the day of the event. I still have goosebumps just like thinking about that. You know, that very first show, because it was our first time attempting Paradise.
Really? Okay.
So yeah, man, just to sell it out and seeing the turnout afterwards too, it was a great feeling. It was a great feeling, man.
That's awesome, man. You performed a lot in Boston. I know you recently opened up for Griselda. Correct?
Yeah.
How was that?
Bro, that was interesting because it was kind of last second. It was like Friday. We knew we were going to perform Sunday.
Wow.
I'm tired we didn't get to meet them directly, but we got to meet people from their camp.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we got to chop it up with them, and they were like, yo, we really love the work. We really like y'all dope. And Roadrunner, shout out Roadrunner for like, I think they had a push on that too. The people, the representatives over there, because we did a pop out for Stiz's show. And he came back real quick. So once they seen that, they loved the energy. They already know we were doing some things in the city. So it was dope for them to vouch for us. Yeah.
That's so awesome that, Griselda, the Griselda crew, kind of like your music. That's pretty dope, man.
Yeah, bro. I hope down the line, I mean, they're very influential at the end of the day to music right now, to hip hop right now. And I could say even for us, like the newer work will even have a lot of like sampling records. Okay. You know what I mean? That's a little bit like them, chopped up sample records, not heavy on the drums, right? So that influence right now is going crazy. Man,
I'm excited. I'm excited for this new VB project.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, so what was your first time ever performing? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was Felix had a show, Middle East, upstairs, I believe. And he had a band, and I was just like, I think I asked, or he either was just like, yo, let's do it. Like, you got a record out, just pop out for a song. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So looking back on it now, how do you feel about it?
Just that first performance?
Yep.
Oh, I sucked, but like at the same time, it was it's so interesting just seeing everyone that was there for the support, that was in the front row. Like those people are still here, 4 or 5 years later. Wow. Which is dope,
So was this? So you said he was with a band?
Yeah, he had a band.
He had a band?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Felix's music. I mean, I could say at the time for sure it was very alternative.
Okay.
So he had a lot of like the bassist, the drums, the drummer, the guitarist. Yeah, he went the whole nine.
Would you ever like incorporate that with Van Buren in the future?
We tried to do it at the BMAs in 2019. It was cool. I don't think we don't really even talk about it.
Okay.
It was cool, but I feel like if we do it again, we have to do it with a lot of care, because when we did it at that show, it wasn't really like great for us. Like we didn't really enjoy it.
What are your thoughts on the Massachusetts like music scene, rap scene?
Man, I feel like we're in an interesting fluctuating state right now. because it kind of correlates with hip hop right now to me, and I feel as if that's where VB, me, all come into play. Where making something, I think the thing that we're missing is everyone. If the majority of Massachusetts artists made all their music from like an extremely authentic place. Like I'm not saying everyone has to, do these think pieces, but I feel like we don't have music right now that is unapologetic to what commercially is working. Like, how do you make something of your own be commercialized? Like, that's what VB's trying to figure out. It's our own sound, while also using influences, of course. But at the end of the day, if you heard VB production, you'd be like, okay, like that's VB sound. Like when do you become a YouTube type beat? Yeah,
exactly.
Like that's my focus. Is like when you really become your own thing and your own entity, like Kanye who has, man. You could say Keem, Travis Scott, right? Playboy Cardi, like all these guys have their own specific sonic sounds. And I think for us in Mass, that's something that it's not really happening across the board. You have a lot of people that kind of be like, oh, you just sound like Drake. You just sound like
you're heavily inspired by Blink. Yeah, exactly.
And for us, we don't want that. Like I know that people are like, oh, you're the next Wu-Tang. I heard people just throw out Brockhampton just because they see a group of people.
Of course,
you know what I mean. So it's just like so annoying. And I think that's where I think the mass music scene to me is very interesting, because I just hear a lot of people. Some people will copy just sounds, and then there'll be some people that will make their own thing and then not feel like they got enough credit, right? And then they might go to a sound that's working, do that. Or they just don't release music as oftenly. Yeah. And it sucks. So hopefully I see way more consistency and way more truth to like your niche, what works for you, and make it just perfect it.
Yeah, make your own sound, make your own wave. Exactly. So do you think you're accomplishing that?
Yeah. I think for us, the blend for us was we didn't want to, especially like let's say for example for this project, I think we found a perfect blend of our own sound with a mixture of what's happening now, because we can't sit here and act like we don't like what some of the music is today either.
Of course.
I can't sit here and say like, I could be like, I don't listen to Yeet all the time, but I like a record from him. Yeah, what I mean? I can't say, there's certain things like that I could be honest about with certain artists now, where I'm like, okay, I don't love their whole catalog, but I like that record. So if you see a little bit of trap influence on this record, you're going to hear it. Griselda, I love their sample and loop sound, gritty sound, grimace sound, then you might hear that on the project in our own way, right? Things like that. And then you have completely just us, like completely in-house production, our own ideas, our own feelings, and curate into something.
So are you more focusing on like sort of the group aspect of it, or your own solo careers? Because I know that some artists, I know for yourself you drop your own solo music, but you also work with a group. So what is the group focused on right now?
I would say the group is focused on absolutely getting mainstream. We want to have some, pretty much, if the goal is here is trying to make people full-time artists, like you're just an artist, because we're good enough. I believe all the artists on the label is great enough to be their own individual artists for an entity, joint venture, deal with a label, distro deal, whatever, to just work on music for a year. I know I could do it and be successful at it. So the focus was, I would say for the group right now, is making this group project as great as we can, and have it reach mainstream stuff, and gives us everyone opportunity, open door to be able to correlate with a label distro that gives them money to support their dream.
Of course.
I mean? That's right now I would say is number one, because we already are in a space where we're very close. Like there's a couple artists that I would say is very closer than others, and it's just like, okay, if we have a proof project where everyone is performing at a high level, how could we not leave with the higher end of people on the label getting signed?
Okay, so your goal is to be signed by a label?
I would say getting signed to any entity that just allows me to be able to work on my music full time,
Okay.
The major label route, I know all the discussions kind of have obviously shifted nowadays with just conversations, podcasts, like avoid major labels, they screw you over. Like, I get it. But I would always say everyone's situation is different. Okay. You know what I mean? So I know for me, it's about getting signed to an entity that believes in my work, that will fund me to be able to focus on making the best I can, the best quality out of my craft. And whether that be from a major to a distro to just an investor, a silent investor, whoever,
That's fair. So looking ahead 2 years, where do you see yourself and where do you see the group?
I would say an up and coming artist individually that's making noise, that's bubbling, that has a new sound added to the game, making a mark in the music game. And then Van Buren wise, I just see it as being one of the bigger label entities like Bad Boy and Was and Rockefeller and Dreamville, Top Dog Entertainment.
Yeah.
Like that's to me is where I see Van Buren on its trajectory for sure.
Talk about the group a lot, but I want to talk about some of your solo stuff. So I really like that new single you just dropped. Sometimes pain can be a drug. What does that mean?
The statement itself is loud. I feel as if in like 2017 is when I first made the first one.
Yeah.
And it was just this weird feeling of like pain doesn't feel like how it feels when my father was just like feeling it in the 80s. Like I feel like it's like morphed into something differently because one, I genuinely believe corporations are behind it in the sense of just how self-esteem is being impacted on with social media, with music, with anything that we consume. And I remember just being like, man, pain is just like a drug. Like I just remember feeling like, yo, this is addictive just like anything else that other people might struggle with, whether it be money, drugs, sex, etc., etc. I'm like, bro, pain is all like the center of all these things. To me, there's always some sort of pain. Anger comes from pain. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, if there's so much anger in this world, so Twitter every day is anger. I'm like, bro, everyone's just in pain. Everyone's hurting. And it's an addictive thing, and we have to get out of it and get into a healing process. So a lot of that series became a thing to be able to become my own like therapy session from when I felt extremely overwhelmed. So I'll say it like this: every time I drop it, it's not really it doesn't mean a great thing happened.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
like the production of the and the releasing of these records happened because of just something. I was extremely overwhelmed by something, whether it be a financial thing, a partnership thing with my girl or something, or family matter, or self-acceptance, right? It's all these things, they just boil over. And it's to the point where, like, I have to put something on wax.
So, do you believe it's therapeutic? Because I know a lot of artists that sort of struggle with letting their emotions out onto the microphone. Yeah. And, you're definitely in a vulnerable position. Right. The entire world is listening to this.
Right.
Do you find it hard? Do you find it easy? Is it difficult for you?
I think it depends on the person. So as long as I'm wise about it and really don't just utilize it as like even what you said, like I've heard people say that too, like I love this series, I love this idea. Yeah. But I'm like, I mean, to me it's like I didn't even think of it like that. It was a series or anything. It's just literally something personally happening and evolving within me. So like I want to make sure it's not hazardous. Yeah. Because I can see where there's like this infatuation, especially as an artist, where you could be like, oh, I have to keep giving more. Like my goal is to not drop that anymore. Oh, like I want to have some sense of peace. So that is my entire focus on just where I see that going. And then when to me it's all said and done, I want to create it like into a short film and be able to have a third person point of view because I don't have to make that anymore. I can now express it from a different landscape and be short film-esque.
Interesting.
Right? Like, yeah, this is something I've like talked about with my videographer since we first met up in like 2019. He was like, man, I got with you because of that series.
Yeah.
So we're like, yeah, bro. Like in the end, I'm like, I don't want to make these records anymore.
Damn, that'd be cool. Have you ever thought about going to sort of other ventures besides just potentially music?
Oh, hell yeah. I think
about short films.
Yeah. I think in general cinematography or any type of creative outlet. Like I know for me, I have to dig in more with the sense of just studying and showing up to like, let's say plays or museums, expositions, stuff like that. Having more, once this, I think the project and stuff like that, videos and stuff get done, I want to be able to step out of that and be able to, because I know I want to pick up the piano.
Okay, so
something.
Do you play any instruments right now?
No, and it's annoying to me because I love production. Like I love being part of the production process. So
do you produce as well, or do you just stick to rapping right now?
Just stick to rapping. Just stick to writing, rapping, and then at the end of the day, trying to get a little bit more on just my director eye. Because naturally, I think I'm starting to click on some things I like to see. And also I just have an interest in when I hear like deep dives on a certain artist. Like I think today I was like listening to like a deep dive on like Paul Newman, who was an actor. I have to finish George Carlin's.
Oh, I love George Carlin.
Yeah, George Carlin, that's a goat. I mean, that For guy. Real. Let me put it like this. I think what I'm in love with, man, is philosophy. Like philosophers, like Aristotle, Plato.
Really? Okay. So do you ever read some of the stuff like on your own?
Yeah, bro. I went on an intense deep dive during COVID. During 2020, I just went on an intense Socrates, Plato.
Damn. Okay.
Deep dive. So. And it made me understand a lot in just the scope of what I was already feeling. And I generally believe, like a George Carlin, for example, when you master something, Dave Chappelle's doing it right now. Yeah. Like when you master something truly, you start embodying something else outside of the art form. Mm-hmm. So Kendrick, to me, has embodied something outside of just a rapper.
Okay.
You know, when he first came, it was a rapper.
Of course.
You know, I could feel that. And then he started dropping pieces, and you start seeing that rapper mystique go away, and he's just becoming his own thing.
Of course,
like he's Kendrick now.
No one thinks of him as just a rapper.
No one thinks of him as a rapper.
So when you went into your deep dive, besides learning that, did you learn anything else in like realms of like philosophy? I'm just genuinely curious.
Is it more so in the sense of
like any life lessons that you continue to you till today? Yeah,
I think the biggest life lesson I learned is that we can get into a trance, and it's like weird. There was this the allegory called The Cave, and it's just dope. It's like a 3-minute video you can see on YouTube. They do like a claymation of it, showcasing it, and it was just pretty much showing how we could be so warped by something for years. We could be trapped in this quote unquote cave, which is where a lot of people are. You know, social media, certain foods, certain dieting. Certain addictions that are like that really do stray away from just betterment of living, right? So, and then when you get showcased the truth, and like if I strip all those away, take away your phone for 3 days, you'll see how happy you'll be. You know exactly. what I mean? Like, right? Like, but then when we see the light, and then the fear is once we see it, we'll go right. Like we'll just be so subjectified to what we've known for decades, which is the cave.
It's a cycle, man.
It's tough because I went endless months without social media when I was like younger.
Yeah. Like
in college, I remember I played college basketball. So during the summers, I would just get off of it. Yeah. I wasn't pushing no music. I wasn't doing any of that, right? So for 3-4 months, I remember just reading books and just working out and I'll play video games, chill with my homies.
Yeah.
And just repeat. Just every day at the end of the day was working out, chilling, whatever, repeat. And then I accomplished a lot of the goals that I had. Mm-hmm. So I always remember those times to this day because I'm like, I'm going to get to that. For this album, that's the space I want to be in again, to be able to come back and be able to showcase just an array of creative ideas and thoughts I have, whether it be in 10-second format, 20-minute format, 3 songs, an album, 13-length LP album, whatever it is. That's it. Like I just know that the isolation and solitude really provides a lot of progress, you know. In
definitely,
the end.
It really. So I only have really just one more question for you. So what is next for you in terms of solo career? I know we've talked a lot about the next Van Buren album. I'm really excited. It's going to probably be out by the end of the summer, you said?
Yeah, no, it will.
It will be.
So summertime is coming out. Okay, off of everything for me personally, I know what I want to study to be able to express with this next project, and what I'm trying to say in the title, I want to assure I do my due diligence to really like execute it well. So for me, my focus is I feel like I put my best foot forward on this VB project to showcase who I am and really make a cement in the fact of like this kid is pretty good. Like let's like work with him or something. Like that's my hope, that there's there's an opportunity that comes to be able to make the music full time, and then I can be able to have the opportunity to go outside and go to England for a week and go work on some music in LA and New York with some people, navigate networking scenes with people, and really, because I just care so much about albums, man. I really care about the physical too. Like I want my music to be art pieces that is held in homes. Like I would want you to have a vinyl. Like I want you to feel like you want to have it. Of course. And that's really the personal agenda for me. Is just having my best foot forward on this project, which I feel is going to be showcased. Having an opportunity, God willing, come my way to be able to make music full time and make a masterpiece, man. I know my next piece of work will have an imprint